once upon a time, we were in Montone at Umbria Film Fest with Terry Gilliam.
Montone.
Montone.
A little cloister in Umbria, in a beautiful, beautiful small town.
In which peace is something. I mean, we are losing the peace. You know?
I know.
Here
I know.
you can find it.
I come. That's one reason I come. I don't just come for the festival. I have a house, you know, because I just go.
Finally.
It's beautiful. It's not as dramatic as other places. But it's just perfectly proportioned, and life here is great, and the people here are wonderful because they're very nice. They're very relaxed. Except for the one that just did that. That was one of the problems. That's one of the it's the toilets here that are big problems.
Yeah, maybe
that was it. I think it just went wrong there. But other than that, Montone is wonderful, except for the toilets.
Except for the toilets, they're kind of a problem. Okay. Well, the first question I would love to ask you is, once you said Don Quixote will never die. It's always living. But I want to ask you, which are the windmills that now on Don Quixote is fighting?
Oh, God. Probably the world of woke.
Okay.
The world of woke, which is a very narrow view of the world. The activists in particular, I refer to them as neo-Calvinists. Very rigid, and there's only one way to see the world. And it makes me crazy, because Quixote has just a great view of what the world is. I mean, he's mistaken, because he's very noble and feels the world is full of wonderful things. The world is full of wonderful things, but it's also full of a lot of other realistic things that hurt when you fall down.
Okay, but in the way you see Don Quixote, do you think he's kind of the artist will always need to fight to do what he's doing?
Maybe, except I know so many people who are more successful than me that just seem to never have to fight. Okay. They just float through. I suppose the difference is, what kind of art are you doing? What do you want to say in your art? And I like saying things that disturb people, that makes people think, make people get angry, but I want people to respond. And that makes it harder to make films, because most producers and the studios want to make the audience happy and relax. Life is wonderful, isn't it? And life isn't. Life is wonderful, but it's full of the most bizarre and extraordinary things. And I just want people to be more aware of what may happen in life, and find, actually, who I really have learned to admire is Lucretius. I finally got around, as an old man, to read, what is it, the Rerum Natura.
The Rerum Natura.
Yeah, and wow, and it goes back even further, because Lucretius is writing about, I've got a problem. It's called nominal aphasia. And names, just as I was about to speak, went like that. And he's writing about somebody long before him, Greek, and it's Epicurus.
Epicurus, of
now
course,
we got it. Now we see we get there eventually.
Yeah, we're having it.
Epicurus, and Epicurus was all about to find pleasure in things. Now a lot of people think that's okay. Let's fuck whoever. It's all. Most people do. Immediately goes. Let's go drink. Let's have drugs. Let's screw anything that moves. And that's not what it's about. It's finding joy in things. It's finding, the beauty in a rock. And that's what I think I love doing, because I can miss the big picture and find, there's a little door over there with beautiful striations in it. And that's wonderful.
That's enough.
And it is. Yeah. It is.
I believe that is because we are living a moment in which everything has to have a purpose, right?
Yeah.
Most of all, capitalistic purpose.
Of course.
Instead, art doesn't need a purpose.
No.
Art is the purpose itself. Yeah. It's a way of living.
That's what I find it always, whether it's a film or artwork or music, people are always demanding to understand it. Can you explain it? No, don't explain it. There's a line in The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, my favorite line. He said, you think explaining explains anything? No, it's a lot of words, but it's, how did you react to the thing? Years ago, John Cleese and I, all of the Pythons were in Munich. We did some shows in German, And John wanted me to take him around the big art gallery. And he wanted me to describe, talk about composition, color. Oh, I said, I don't want to talk about that, John. Respond. A direct response is all you need. You don't have to understand it. And he still wanted answers. I think the best part of the day we spent was there was a little device very low on the wall. I think it was a kind of barometer to keep the humidity right. And John and I started playing. We started, oh my God, isn't that stunning? Oh, look at this. And we were just playing around as if we were art lovers who had discovered this extraordinary piece of art there. and we just tried to not laugh, but crowds started gathering around us. Wow, what is it? It's gonna be interesting. It was my attempt to try to show John that you don't have to understand art. You just respond to it.
And play with it.
And play, hopefully.
Okay, and about that, I mean, sometimes we have so many troubles in understand why cinema seems like reality, why cinema is about perception of reality, or is about perception of something else. And I want to ask you, in the way you, as an artist, but also as a human person, live the relationship between the way you perceive life and the reality of life that has to be.
I don't know. I just do what I do and see what I see. I never try to explain.
Okay.
I never tried to be Woody Allen. I've never tried to be like a psychiatrist, to explain my work, why I see the world this way. I don't care.
Okay.
I do, and I luckily am able to put it on film occasionally.
Okay. And you started with animation. I loved the animation you did, all the work you did at the beginning. And is there something about animation, the way animation plays with reality, that remains in all your work, even when you did the live action movies?
Probably, because I've always been a cartoonist. That's what I am. I'm not an artist, I'm a cartoonist. And I work sometimes with real living people, other times I do other things. It's a way of looking at the world. It's fun, and it's a grotesque way of looking at the world. You can push things beyond their limits and still entertain people, make them laugh. It's why I prefer animation to Marvel films, because they don't respect reality. Everybody's got superpowers. No,
they need to do more.
They're coming. The art critics are coming. They want to know what we're talking about. And the girl has just gotten married. She wants to know what marriage is about. I've been married for 51 years.
Wow.
That's why she's come always. She wants to know the secret of my marriage.
So you're saying that the cartoonists don't need to say what reality should be. They play with it.
Yeah, you can take things beyond extreme. That's why I like the Roadrunner, Tom and Jerry. And each time he bounces back, he's alive. You kill him again and again, and he keeps coming back. And that's what's wonderful. And that's the difference between like a Marvel film, because everybody has to have these special superpowers, and gravity doesn't enter the equation. Johnny Depp is fighting on a yardarm of a pirate ship and in a storm, and it falls off the yardarm. This is not possible. You could do it in a cartoon and get away with it, but if you're pretending to be some kind of reality, this is bullshit.
Doesn't work. Yeah.
This is childish.
Yeah, that's right. And about that, cinema, as we were saying, is a lot about movement.
Yeah.
And I love your cinema, of course. And something I always found really interesting is the way you use like kind of dance in your movies.
Yeah.
In Brazil, I see like the capitalistic dance,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
the
yeah,
deviante dance.
Yeah.
In Parnassus, there is the devil dance. And do you have a relationship with this need of dancing with the movement in cinema? It's something that is interesting.
I don't know. Maybe I do. That's a good question, because I never thought about it, frankly. I literally haven't. I mean, I do think of scenes as a dance. I don't know, have you seen Tideland?
Yes.
Okay. At the beginning, the first scene is this little girl, 9-year-old girl, 10-year-old girl, and she's in the kitchen, seems to be cooking something. Her father, Jeff Bridges, is sitting in a chair in the foreground. What she's doing is cooking heroin for him. And then she comes there and she gets it in the needle, and then she helps him inject. And the audience, so many people were so shocked by that. They left the movie almost at that point. The idea, but it's what they didn't see. It's a dance of love. This little girl was dealing with her father, and she knew what he needed. In many ways, she was the adult in the dance. And that was really important. And the only other, I was thinking about this just the other day, the only time I made a leap from a script into something else is in Fisher King. Because Richard LaGravenese was a young writer who wrote that script, not for anybody, just for himself, the first film he ever wrote. And then I was brought in basically to bring Robin Williams in. It grew in all this. But the scene in Grand Central Station where 1,000 people all start dancing has nothing to do in the script. And it's a weird thing because it's totally unrealistic. The rest of the film is totally realistic. And I was thinking about that the other day. I got away with that. And the audience accepted it. Because originally the scene was basically, you know, it's Robin Williams is waiting for this girl he's in love with. And Jeff Bridges, who is connected with, it's a bit complicated, but he's there trying to help him, but he's a very cynical man. A poor black woman in Grand Central Station started to sing just during the rush hour. And he listened and he seemed to be very affected by that. Now, it's very simple, it's very realistic. And I don't know, when I was at Grand Central Station, I looked down at rush hour and all those people, and I said to the producers, wouldn't it be wonderful that all those people rushing on their way home or back to work suddenly crossed and looked at somebody and fell in love and started dancing? Wow. And they said, you got to do it. I said, no, that is not a Richard LaGravenese film. This is that's a Terry Gilliam film. I'm to do Richard's film, not mine. But I was thinking about that it actually works. Nobody questions it.
Nobody. I didn't. And about that, I mean, many of your characters are definitely romantic. I mean, I see a lot of romanticism, but it's not about succeeding, it's about being able to be romantic, your cinema.
Yeah.
I never needed in your films to find a solution at the end, to find an happy ending. I needed to feel the romanticism itself as it is.
That's great. I mean, nobody's talked to me like this. What are you doing tonight?
We can have a beer together later.
But you're right. Actually, what happened to me, I was at the Sundance Institute years ago when I helped a young guy who was not in films yet, but what was his name? Yeah, wait, forget it. But the point that was interesting, I was there and I had to get up and say something, and I did. But the other person there were three professionals: me, Volker Schlondorf, and here it comes again, nominal face. It just goes boom like that. It's a really weird thing. Anyway, it's Stanley Donen. The name came, and I had to do a talk, but after the talk, maybe the next day, they showed a collection of all of his films. And they were just wonderful romantic comedies, music, everything. And I said, if I'd seen that, I would have been able to honestly admit that Stanley Donen had the biggest effect on me of any filmmaker, because they were so romantic, so wonderful. And I never thought about it, but after that, I thought about it a bit more. And he thought about it, and he said, the problem with it being so romantic, and you've fallen for all of that, he said, I did the same thing. I fell for it. I've had 4 wives now. It's never worked out like it did in movies.
Nice. About that, I mean, I'm seeing that the greatest director, as I believe you definitely are, at some point, they need to face the religion question, but not of course because they are religious people, but because they have to face it. Yeah. But I saw that your Christ, your God, are dying, are miserable. They are not.
It's a rough job. It's a hard job. You're up there on your own. You got a bunch of angels. Oh, fuck the angels. You got to deal with this mess you've made. That's my new film, actually.
Whoa.
It is. You hit the button.
Okay, great.
It's called Carnival at the End of Days. And God has decided to destroy humanity for fucking up his beautiful garden, the earth. And there's only one character in the film that's trying to save humanity, Satan. Nice. Because without humanity, he's out of a job, and he lives eternally. To be living eternally without a job is the worst punishment anybody could go through. So that's what the film is about.
Wow, I can't see it. I can't wait to see it. And about Satan, I was working with Tom Waits.
The best. I think he's going to be in the film too. Tom he's so unique, so special, and just a joy. He's I don't know. I don't ever try to analyze him and why he does what he does. I just love it, and he always surprises me. And he's so smart, and he's so wise, and he's so sympathetic to ideas, and he understands religion as well. It's the point of religion is something for other people, for both Tom and me, but we understand it, and we both left. I mean, I left my church when I was young. I was going to be a missionary.
Wow.
But then the people in the church, I was always making jokes about God, and they said, "You can't do that. You can't say that." I said, "What? What kind of God do you believe in that can't take a joke?" Especially my jokes.
What are we doing?
And that's pretty much my attitude. So, bye, it's been nice working with you. I was talking was it yesterday or the day before? It was something about it was the day before, about the fact that when I was growing up, the Bible was being read by everybody. It was the book that everybody read, whether you're Catholic, Protestant, everything. The Bible, everybody knew the stories. And the stories are great in the Bible. I think that's what I like about it. It's a great book of stories, is what it is. Exactly. Great characters that are better than Batman. They're more about reality. And Tom's the same thing. So we got all of that religious structure in our head, but we don't believe it. It's like in Dostoevsky's Brother Karamazov. Yeah. There's one character, it's the priest, who doubts. And he's struggling the whole time. If only I could be a 300-pound peasant woman who could go into the church, light the candles, pray, and then go out feeling life is worth living. You can't. So I'm happy that the peasants still believe. I don't want to.
Nice. So you feel it. You can feel it. Yeah, that's really interesting. And I want to ask you something. As we are saying, we are living in a moment in which nobody is really understanding that not everything that needs a purpose, right? We are living in a moment. And can I ask you, do you think, not always in a good way, but also in a sincere way, that cinema sometimes now can be more sincere about the reality than the reality itself?
I'm not sure if sincere is the right word.
Okay.
But it can reveal so much that's important about reality, but it seldom does. I mean, that's what I loved. Particularly, I loved Italian cinema in the 50s, 60s. I mean, because every one of those had a religious element in it.
Of course, always.
And they were fantastic. It made me think all the time. I thought, I'm actually dealing with my own questions, the way I feel about this, that, and the other thing. And I don't know what happened to the Catholic Church after those films. They'd go out of business because nobody does films like that anymore.
You're right, definitely. And is there kind of a poem or a book that you would have transformed into a film, the one that you read?
Nel mezzo del cammin di nostra vita mi ritrovai in una selva scura per la via dritta era smarrita. I love that.
Wow.
Everything about that is so brilliant. He's writing about a middle-age crisis.
Yes.
That's all he's doing. Fantastic.
That's all he's doing.
And I love that. I mean, other poets, I'm not very good with poetry, but there's the Wind That Come and Go, talking of Michelangelo. There's those poems that through college we were having thrown at us. Okay. But the nicest thing that happened to me with Brazil, when I made it, then we showed it in Paris. We had an opening in Paris already, and the critics really loved it. And they were coming to me saying, "You must love poetry." And I said, "Not really," because that film is so poetic. And I thought, nobody's ever accused me of being poetic.
Accused me, I like it. And I mean, now that we are here, right, in a peaceful place, is there a moment of your life in which you were in peace, while during that period of your life you were not in peace? When you were younger, I mean, is there
when I was young,
a memory of one of your best days in your life when you were younger?
Luckily, I have no memory. I'm old now. It's so good. I don't have much of a memory. I don't remember. I loved what I loved when I was a kid. I lived in Minnesota, Minneapolis, on a dirt road. Across the road was a swamp. Behind the house was a forest. This was nice. and one of the most enjoyable moments was when winter came, the snow plows would come down the road and pile the snow up on the sides of the road. So me and a friend decided to, dig in, make a kind of igloo. And there we were. We finally made a little room that we could huddle in the snow. And we were having a wonderful time until one day a dog came up on top of the whole thing and took a pee and melted his way through. So we were sitting there having a good time, and the dog and all the piss landed on us. And I thought, that is wonderful. It's just wonderful. I mean, so much of the way I see the world is try to find the absurd quality in life. Because I think it's a healthy way to get through life, because we are an absurd species. I really do think. I mean, yet we take ourselves so seriously.
Too much seriously.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, we should just feel the absurd and accept it maybe more.
Yeah. I don't want to know. I don't want answers. I want to be surprised all the time. And I don't want to. Car crashes are not much fun. They make good films, car crashes, but in reality, I like to drive a little bit more safely. And it's very funny. Only by getting older do you really start thinking about, and I don't give a shit about my own death, that's no big deal, but suddenly you've got family and you've got grandchildren, and that's what I think about all the time, and I spend too much of my time worrying with no power to do anything about it. Things happen, the bus comes, squashed.
Okay. Yeah, if I can say that, I believe that your cinema that it gives to me is finding the absurdity in a beauty and in a horrible way in the little things. I've never needed in your cinema, as I was saying before, to see crazy stuff. It was always in the little things, both the beauty and the sadness. So the absurdity is in the little things.
Yeah.
We just need to restart watching them, maybe. And that's something.
Today I saved a cricket. A little Jiminy cricket.
Okay.
You know cricket?
Cricket. Okay, cricket. Yeah.
Okay. It was in the sink in my house. Couldn't get out. And I said, well, fuck you. You pay attention to what you're doing. And then after, no, it's a cricket. So I got a piece of paper. He didn't want to get on. I finally got him in and took him out. He didn't thank me.
And I have one last question, Master Terry Gilliam. Can you name me and Juno Knights of the Saint Grail? We have a sword.
The Knights. Oh, yeah. Do I have to make? I'm not a king.
Yeah, but you are our king in cinema. Can I ask you this incredible honor?
This is very difficult for me. I don't know how to do this. I'm not trained in this thing.
Yeah.
All right, but you got to get on your knees, and I have to avoid chopping your heads off.
Exactly.
Okay. And you will be a knight of the holy, what? What is holy in your life? What would you like to be a knight of?
Love.
The knight of love. There you go. And your choice?
Absurd.
The knight of the absurd. Good luck in the world. Go out and fight for love and absurdity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It was an honor for us.
Here we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, the seat was so comfortable I didn't stand up like a king should.
Thank you. It was
Thank
such
you.
an honor.
That was a loaded chat because you ask questions that most people don't.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's what makes it interesting for me, because otherwise, it's the same old thing.
Yes.
I know.
And,
Exactly.
yeah.